Give everybody a chance to get on. It's Monday. I don't know about you, but it feels like it's 7 in the morning, even though right now for us it's 11. And I know for any of you on the West Coast, it's a lot earlier. Oh my goodness. I appreciate everybody being here on a Monday morning. Cheers. Here's to good coffee. I spent a wonderful weekend away, so I'm just getting back from, what it means to go and teach and unpack when you get back, and laundry and, where's the sleep? Oh, right, I need to sleep. So I hope all of you had a wonderful weekend and that you enjoyed whatever your plans were. I hope all of you are doing well and that your day is off to a great start. A great start on a Monday means a good week ahead, regardless of the weather. I know I always talk about the weather because it's life, right? It's what's outside our door. So thank you for joining me here on artbeads.com. I am so happy to be here with you today. We have some fun things to play with. For those of you who might be on Facebook or YouTube, welcome. Thank you for joining us there. If you were to comment, I won't be able to see your name or really see your comments. So if you would like to be more a part of the conversation, come on over to artbeads.com and just click the live that's happening on the bottom of the screen, or click the live in the upper bar, just so we can see your comments. Oh, thanks, Mom. Yep, I was with my mom. She's a wonderful group of people who get together annually, and they invited me to be their instructor this year. And we were not knitting. we were gluing crystals on a tumbler. It was wonderful. Thank you for having me. So, either way, we are so happy to have you here, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're right here with us on artbeats.com. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of our community. Thank you for sharing the show with your friends and helping grow the community. It's really a safe space to be, have fun, comment, which there's a little bar on the bottom. You can comment so we can see your thoughts and ideas. Thank you for all the hearts. I appreciate all the hearts. Good morning, Lois. I'm glad you caught me live too. It's so nice to have you here. Hi, Deborah. So glad to see you. So the hearts are just such a nice way for me to know that you're here. Also that maybe you're liking what I'm doing, or for when I'm struggling, you're cheering me on. So thank you. I know sometimes my techniques get a little intricate or challenging based on the configuration of my setup, and it's nice to see the love when you're like, you can do it, or when it doesn't go so well, you're like, it's okay. So thank you. You guys are the best. Oh, good morning, Bridget, Vivian, Kate, Maria. Oh my gosh. We have some fun things to go over today. One of the specials in today's event is this amazing designer blend. I know it's still in a bag, but even still, it's so beautiful. I don't know if you've been to the Art Beads Live before, but a group of the team was able to be a part of this amazing find at the warehouse, and they uncovered 30-year-old, I think it's 30 years old, amazing amount, I want to say pallets filled with beads, check glass beads that had not been in inventory, had not been seeing the light of day. And they were able to go through, I mean, can you imagine the joy of, first of all, finding and seeing these beads firsthand, and then having the pleasure and the honor of actually putting blends together. So there have been some really spectacular blends that have come across our table, and that's thanks to Julie, Sarah, and Becky, and of course the Art Beads team who welcomed them and allowed them to have all of this fun and put all of these beautiful designer blends together. The thing to keep in mind, these blends are very limited edition. They are only around for as long as they're around. So if you are interested, I will spill this out later so you can see it a little bit more closely. But if you are interested, I would not hesitate to put this in your shopping cart and make sure you check out at the end of the show, because they really are limited edition and most of them have sold out. It is what it is, right? These beads have been around. It's time to move them along, get them into circulation, and have some fun with them. So Oh, well, Beverly, thank you for joining us. Your first time live. We're so glad to have you. Hi, Ginger, Danette. Oh my goodness, it's so wonderful to see all of you. Desiree, Deborah, and Danette. Oh my gosh, 8 o'clock in the morning. I know, I'm sorry. We moved me up just to make it so that you guys had a way to start your day. Maybe I'm catching some of you right before your lunch hour. And then for those of you who are in another part of the world, so we're not so late. So thanks for being so willing to join me. I know for me it's 11 o'clock, so I'm still enjoying my coffee. And I'm really just so glad to start my day with all of you. So, we're going to keep it nice and simple today. I tend to go a little bit more on the complex. We're going to keep it nice and simple today. And we're going to make some beautiful bracelets with this amazing designer blend. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the camera down and give you a bird's eye view of all of the parts and pieces. So just give me a second to get everything oriented so that you have the best view possible. And then don't forget you have the shopping bag icon is right there for you. So you can see all of the details of all of the products. Let me get you a little closer. And I'm going to get the lighting a little bit better. Just takes me a minute to kind of configure all the different lighting options so that you guys have the best view. We are doing the best we can from our studios without professional equipment. Okay, so as I mentioned, here is the designer blend. And outside of the plastic bag, let's get that onto a mat so you can see it. And then I'll move it out of the way and go over everything else. But let's not bury the lead and let's just get to it. And please note that this is not all of them because I did make some samples. So there's already beads not included in this bag that are also part of what you get. That was the other thing is the ladies were able to offer suggestions on at least having for some of the beads that were more limited in quantity so that there was at least enough to make a pair of earrings. Hi, Kim. Welcome, welcome. Kathy. This one is blue. Yes, these are all blue. There are other designer blends available and there'll be more coming up. We are releasing new batches every month. So, you know, we're at the end of February. This is the one that I have. It got bumped because of last week's release of all the new prestige. So this got bumped a little bit later into the month. So there will be more coming up and there might be some lingering on the website from past lives. But look at all of these beads. So this is, I don't know, I love gemstone nugget beads and these have the same kind of shape. You know, where they're perfectly sized and shaped and repeated. So they're not, they're not something that's going to be random when you have these beads together. But I love the size of them. The size of them is just amazing. Oh, thanks, Maria. Thank you. Let me know if you find it, Maria, or don't. And then there are these sweet rectangles. They're like almost opalescent, so they're somewhat transparent. They don't have an AB finish on them, but they've got a really beautiful effect just from the milkiness quality of the color, but yet that they're see-through. There's some stars for those of you who are more celestial inclined. I love these halves, crescents, I would say. So I guess that plays into somewhat, you could make some moons out of them if you were to put them together. There's leaves, which, you know, I think when I think of check glass beads, I think of the leaves. One of my first adventures in beading at a very large bead supplier was leaves, and I was overwhelmed by the options in check glass when it came to leaves, and these are just beautiful. The color is stunning. So it's kind of just a really pretty, not aqua, it's like a very light blue, but so clear, so precise. And the check glass beads are just so well made. Their precision, the molds are beautiful. The processes that they use for treating the beads is beautiful. You've got these definitely have like a nice finish on them, like an AB. They're just so lovely. And see, these are more like a, okay, I don't mean this in any way to not be flattering, but it's almost like a cabbage. It's almost like those beautiful flowers that are, or plants that I know here in the Northeast we have in the fall, in the winter, because they keep their color, like those succulents. They're not succulents, but you know, I hope you know what I'm trying to say. Like I said, it's Monday morning and I'm coming off a long weekend, so my brain. And then these daggers. Oh, I didn't mean to save these to the end, but look at those daggers. Now, I will say in my mix, I only had a few of these, but there's enough if you want to make earrings. There's enough to at least have a couple of pair. Look at those daggers. Like, they're just so fabulous. And these are top drilled, but side to side, not top to bottom. Just beautiful. And single hole, not double hole. A lot of you may be familiar with some of the newer check glass beads that have multiple holes. These are single hole. And what else is in here? Oh, these, I love these. These are so great in between beads. They have such a nice dimension to them, and I love the matte finish, yet also kind of an AB. So bravo, ladies, whoever put this mix together. I think it was originally based on a certain Disney movie, but it is called Ice Queen, which maybe you could figure out. I don't want to say it in case we're not allowed to say those trademark kind of things. And then, of course, the clear, and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of seed beads. And these seed beads are beautiful. Oh, that's not a seed bead. That's a memory wire end. Well, we didn't get to that yet. Let me get that out of there. It got away from me, I guess. All of these seed beads. And these are beautiful. They're not a solid white. They've got a nice little sheen to them. Such precision. I'm kind of particular with my seed beads in that I like them to be, I don't like to have to cull out a lot of seed beads and go through a lot of them. Oh, the blend is not activated yet. All right. Yeah. Okay. So you guys are on it. They save it for us to have for our lives so that it doesn't sell out before I get to showing it to you. So, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Eric's on it. He's going to take care of it. Okay, I know I totally missed these. Look at these sweet flowers. Also very traditional Czech glass bead. You know, this was, again, my first foray into Czech glass beads. I found all of these flowers, and look how beautiful these are. These make great bead caps. These would make really sweet, a sweet way to finish a pair of earrings, or if you were making seed bead fringe. Oh my gosh, we could go on and on and on and design and talk about design. Cabbage rose. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And maybe that is what they are. I don't know. But that's kind of the detail that's on these. And typical of an AB, when they apply an AB finish, depending on the process, it's usually on one half of the bead, not on both. And that looks to be the case. But such flash on that finish. Such flash. The quality of these beads is bar none. I have to say, I think some of it is, you know, based on when these were made, things were done a little differently and a little bit more time was applied to creating them. And not to discount how they're being made today, but 30 years ago, the beads were made definitely very differently. Very special family that made these beads, and you could tell there was a lot of care put into making these beads. Okay, so back to the big ones, because I really love the big ones. They remind me of gemstones, and not just because I just got back from Tucson. They really are wonderful. Okay, so let's get to some of the other things we'll use today, just to give you an idea. We're going to keep, like I said, we're going to keep it simple. A great C mix. Oh, so You read my mind, Lori. I am all about the ocean. And so for me, I brought in some ocean. I prefer the summer. I prefer sunshine, and I should just live at the beach because I really just bring in summer. And to me, those beads, I took it from winter and ice queen to beach. And I'm thinking about spring and summer and bracelet weather. We are going to, good morning, Carol. Oh, and hi, Heather. The Ice Queen mix is active now. All right, everybody, don't hesitate. It's clearly something you're all very interested in, to be aware that it wasn't active. So thank you. And thank you for getting it live. Yay. So we're going to keep it super simple. We're going to do memory wire and elastic. And those are how we're going to make our stackable bracelets. And we'll cover how to finish it with pliers, but also the memory wire ends. And we'll just add in a few extra little things. This starfish is, unfortunately, this particular one is no longer available, but there are starfish out there and there are other charms. Just because I think of the ocean with everything I do doesn't mean you do. So don't hesitate to look through all of the charms. They personalize your design. And then these are just some simple stampable charms that we'll get into doing a little bit of metal stamping. And this is important. This is important to me. This, I think, was something I really wanted to make sure, if you weren't aware, we're going to use oval jump rings where we need to. And if you don't already have oval jump rings in your toolbox and you weren't aware, maybe you're already aware because you're also savvy, but just in case, when you have your oval jump ring, the opening on the oval jump ring is on the side, so that when you're naturally wearing your bracelet or your earrings or whatever, the jump ring will naturally hang like this. And therefore, anything you have hanging from the jump ring will be below the opening. So it will not be like a round jump ring that'll probably inevitably, the opening would be at the bottom, right where your charm would be, and be more susceptible to having your charm fall off. So oval jump rings are the best way to incorporate a charm into your bracelet or earrings. So definitely have oval jump rings in your arsenal if you don't already. They are, I don't want to say a lifesaver because let's not be too dramatic, but they're a lifesaver. And I also really think when working with elastic, having a big eye needle around is helpful. It just helps you get through, especially when we're working with seed beads. So if you're not familiar, a big eye needle is just a beading needle, but the eye spans like 3/4, if not 5/8 of the length. Like it takes up a big section of the needle. So it makes it super easy to string a little bit larger cording material. As long as you're if you're going to use a needle, your cording material is going to be doubled. So you just have to make sure that as your needle passes through, the two lengths of the material can pass through the bead. And sometimes when you're doing that with seed beads, it could be a little tricky. So just something to think about. And let's see, let me show you the tools. So I just have flat nose pliers, so we could work with the jump rings, memory wire cutters. Remember, working with memory wire, you must use memory wire cutters. Do not use any of your other cutters. It's like forbidden. If you've heard me before, there are rules. And I don't usually play by the rules. I don't usually even offer the rules. I offer you guidelines and safety precautions. But when it comes to cutting memory wire, do not ruin your good pliers. Even your good heavy duty pliers that maybe belong in the basement in the workshop. Don't use them. Use the tool that's really recommended for it. They're made for it. They're made for that really hardened steel. So that's my PSA for today. And I use these all the time. Oh, look, funny, my name's on them. I use these all the time when I'm forming loops, but these are for working with memory wire. They originally were the memory wire end pliers, or some term that I'm probably botching. But these are made specifically in nice short snub nose. So these are great for turning memory wire. Do not use your good round nose pliers. If you have a good old pair of round nose pliers that's nice and sturdy, that you don't care what happens to the nose, maybe you could use those, but that's what these are for. They're a workhorse, and they're short, and the box joint on these is really strong. So those are really what I would recommend when working with memory wire. it's tricky. It may seem like, oh, it's like a slinky. Yeah, well, it's going to ruin your tools. Don't do it. You want a steel bench block when you're hammering, as you've seen before, some sort of material underneath, one to offer some sound dampening. I inevitably am stamping late at night, and I don't like to wake up everybody, so I also use a rubber block. So any configuration that you can have with a steel bench block, a rubber block, and if you have a sandbag available, even better. A good hammer. So the steel bench block we have there showing is a steel bench block with a rubber block built in. Perfect, 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 perfect. And good scissors. And of course, we've got some stamps, some good metal stamps. These are by Impress Art. And this is just this little swirl. I don't know how long I've been doing it, for a very long time. I do this little, like when I sign my name, I do this little swirl. So this one really spoke to me. It's also could be kind of like the ocean. I'm sure there's a wave stamp out there, but this kind of gives some motion. And it just was like a cute little accent for the stamp, or for the charm. And then I also, for today, I picked out a little flower, little leafy flowery thing. So we'll use those and we'll go over stamping. And then so far I have just a couple of bracelets that I've made ahead of time. I didn't want to use up too many of the beads so you could actually see the volume of the beads, but here's just a couple of samples. So this one, really super simple, one main focal, two of those flower beads that make nice bead caps, and then two of those really fun matte beads, and then nothing but seed beads. Two of those memory wire ends on a length of memory wire. Oh, Danette, I'm so sorry that happened to you, but you're here to say that what I just shared is accurate. I'm so sorry that happened to you, but it really, yeah. Oh, and Heather, I'm glad that you're already using those oval jump rings. They really do make a difference. And you're welcome, Carol. I'm glad to have some information that's helpful to you. That's wonderful. Okay. And so this is just stretchy bracelet. Stretchy. And then could you imagine, like, if you have a couple of these stacked up, how nice they would look. I say summertime, but anytime, really. Just stack them up. And then have a couple that are maybe just the seed beads, some that are all beads. Okay, I will do the stamp. Do they have the memory wire ends on the website? Yes. They are definitely on there. We'll put that up there just so you can find them. They should be, if you click on the shopping icon, they should be a part of the show. Oh no, it's okay, Lois. I think I figured it out. Yes, so the memory wire ends fit the memory wire. We will cover that. So I'm sure meanwhile we'll get that in order so you can find them. But just click that shopping bag and they should be listed. Okay, so let me just clear the deck a little bit. Move some of this out of the way. I'll move the beautiful beads back in to the frame, so you have something pretty to look at while I regroup and get everything kind of organized so we can get right to work. All right. Put this board away so we have some room. So why don't we do the stamping first? We'll get some of the accent pieces in order first. And I think because of the height of everything, I'm going to reduce this stack and not include my rubber block, but so you have an idea, the rubber block is really helpful. Not only for dampening, but also, I didn't finish my thought there, also for stability. Depending on your work surface. So I know, depending on your world and where you're able to work in your house or your studio, you may be on a table that's not that sturdy. The more you can stabilize your bench block so that you can strike the hammer and hold, do everything, the better the impression you will have. So if you're working on a folding table, you really need to help condition the surroundings of the bench block so that it has as little mobility as possible, because that table is going to give when you put pressure on it. I'm fortunate I have a nice strong, it's just a countertop that's supported by 2 bookcases. It's nothing fancy. I picked this up. It's, you know, it was like $100 for this countertop. It's maple, oak, maybe oak. I forget. Nothing fancy, but it is well supported, and I'm on a sturdy floor. And so those are just some things. Oh, perfect. I'm glad you found, I like neat egg money. Yes. I love that. Okay. All right. So I think I need, so I don't hit my camera. So here is my bench block. Here is the stamp, the metal stamp we're going to do. And I'm going to, I like to have the, see, when they make the stamps, most stamps will have the symbol or the letter or the number on the shaft. And so you would position that toward you. And it's especially helpful when there's a letter, because like this shape, who cares? You know, like depending on where, unless you really have a very specific way that you want this shape to work. Here, then why don't I open up the other one? We'll open up this guy. Unless you have a specific place you want the stamp, for these that are like my little swirl guy, it doesn't matter. But if you really want to be very specific about how you place your stamps, having that information on the shaft so that it's facing you. Sorry, these are very stiff. You just get that staple out of there. I was trying to show you how to unpack this, but because you don't want to hurt yourself with the staple. If you can remove the staple, they're packaged very, very well. My pliers are not cooperating, so you want to get that one side staple out, because these staples are also I feel they're stronger than regular staples in like that you would use at home in an office setting. So just be careful with the staples. I'm very particular about my hands. I need my hands for my life, so I like to make sure you're all aware of things like that. Okay, so here's this stamp's a little bit larger. Hello, cat. And again, you have this symbol so you can see how it's shaped and how it's going to look. What are final beads? The beads you bought are too large for my memory wire. Oh, so Danette, Kathy's asking you. I love that you're having a conversation. All right, so we're going to position the stamp. I'm going to position it a little bit higher so that it's positioned a little bit down from the loop at the top. Let's see if I can do this without hitting my camera. Nope. Let me come above. Here we go. And you want to hit. I do twice. But if you do twice, you have to make sure for sure you did not move, or you will get a duplicate. You will get a shadow effect. So you want to make sure that you hold still, very still. All right, and now this is where, knowing where the symbol is facing, we can do this. This guy's a little bit smaller, and we'll put, let me do this again. You would be laughing at me if you saw what I was doing to make this work. Okay. Oop. And I did hit my camera. I'm sorry. Okay. So just some sweet little extra charms that we can have ready to go on our design. So let's start with the elastic. Because these beads are a little bit larger, I'm going to use the 0.8 millimeter. It's a little bit heavier. It's obviously thinner than the 1 millimeter, but I usually work in the 8 millimeter or 0.8 millimeter or 0.5 millimeter, and 0.5 to me is just a little thin. I would use the 0.5 if I was going to go through the beads twice, but everything is also dependent upon the size of the hole in the beads. Yes, so you can definitely use these stamps as a maker's mark. Absolutely, it's a wonderful idea. Oh, finial beads. Yes, so there are actually, so you were able to put finial beads, the check finial beads, right? Are they Toho? Now I'm forgetting. I think they're Czech. I wonder if they're on the site. Are they Toho? I'm forgetting now. I remember when Melinda first shared those from Starman. Yes, so finial beads. So you use the finial beads, the glass, like seed beads, but they're only half drilled. They are Czech. Okay, cool. So I wonder, yes, okay. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, so I cut a length of elastic. Oh, Toho or Czech? I can't, they're both, that's different. When you're working with elastic, you want to stretch it before you do anything with it. So you're pre-stretching. That's a very important step. I can't say I always remember, but I try to always remember, especially if I'm in production, then I remember. When I first sit down to do it, I string my beads and I'm like, oh, I forgot to stretch. So definitely stretch, pre-stretch. It will help prevent it stretching after the fact, because this definitely stretched out. It'll prevent stretching after the fact. It also helps prevent breakage. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I was told 25 years ago, so I go with it. I've never had mine break except after wearing them for a few years. Like my boys will, especially my youngest, he will wear a bracelet until it falls apart. And they hold up really well, and he doesn't take them off. Okay, so what I was saying earlier is if, when you string your stringing material through a needle, it will be doubled. So you have to make sure that it can fit through the hole of the beads you're stringing. Hi, Kim. Glad you could make it. Could you stretch the roll before you use it and then re-roll? I suppose. I think it gets kind of clunky. And then for me, I like to keep my spools nice and neat because I stack them. I put them up on my shelf. But I suppose if you're just going to sit down and make things, you could certainly pre-stretch it. I think anything that works for you is fine. Okay, so what I love about, especially working with seed beads, it's nice when you can work with a needle. The larger beads, it's not as challenging. But when you can do this all day and just pick up seed beads with the needle. And the other thing, I will use pliers to help me because these needles are sharp. They're metal. So my hands aren't able to grip it enough to pull because they're slippery. So I just use my pliers and then I'm able to string and pull the cording through. Now I will say, if you haven't worked with a big eye needle before, if you pull too much, they will separate, they will split. So you may decide that this is not how you want to do it, and that's totally fine because you can avoid the needle altogether and just cut. I'll show you the other idea. You can just trim the end on an angle so you get a nice sharp point in your stringing material. It's just not as stiff when you want to string beads, so it's just a little bit more challenging where the needle makes a big difference. But you can see it does work. The other option here, if you're going to string just seed beads, you may want to go down to 0.5. The reason I like 0.8 is the seed beads are kind of just more of a filler, and the rest of the beads are very large and they're glass. So they're a little bit heavier, but also even with gemstones, you would want to do that. Okay, so you guys get the idea there. I won't take the time to string up an entire design. It's more about just talking through some of the reasons behind some of these techniques. So one of the other things about elastic, if you're working with elastic, and especially in the summer here in the Northeast, things get a little bit humid and you may find that the beads don't slide on as easily. You can dust this in powder, in baby powder, and then it makes it non-sticky. Non-sticky. Oh my gosh, it sounds like I'm talking to 2-year-olds. I'm so sorry. It makes it so that it doesn't stick. When I can't find my needles, I use a scrap of 7-strand wire, fold it in half, and use that as a needle. Oh, that's a cool idea. Hi, Robin. You're never too late. It's okay. We're still here. Okay, so I'll just thread on a couple more beads so I can make a nice loop. This is no rhyme, no reason, super down and dirty, just quick so I can show you the knot that I like to use when working. Oh, I really love these rectangles. I hope the mix lasts through the show, so don't hesitate. Oh, and check these out. I like this because then you can slip in, oh, what are we calling these? Cabbage roses. I love it. I hope that's not offensive to the people who designed this beautiful bead. And for all I know, maybe that's what they meant. I don't know. I never like to insult anybody. And they really are beautiful. Okay. So here's the knot that I would use. I typically recommend in a lot of my work using a surgeon's knot. This is definitely one of those times. So, and when you're making a surgeon's knot, I'm going to go left over right, left over right. And here it sometimes can be a little tricky, especially with elastic. Sometimes it'll want to spin and then it undoes what you just did. So when you pull it, make sure it doesn't untwist. Pull it in there. And then on the reverse, you're going to go right over left. And I know in the past, I think there's a lot of education out there now. I think this video that I've done in the past is one of the highest watched videos on some website or another, because it's something that's kind of the basics, and stretch bracelets have never gone out of fashion. And it's just sometimes a matter of changing the beads to be what you want them to be, and they stay in fashion. So working with elastic has really just always been a thing. So anyway, don't use nail polish. In the past, people used to use nail polish to glue this knot. They use cyanoacrylate glue. All of that will weaken the knot, weaken the elastic, the elastic will break. You'll be so sad. So you want to use, I like to use a gel glue or even a hypocement. And when I glue, I do tend to put some cross-locking tweezers or something. Oops. I'll put, I must not have done that right. I will put tweezers on either side of the knot. I will apply the glue and I will let the glue cure before I release the tweezers. And then I will trim the ends of the cord after the glue is dried. And depending on what glue I use, I will wait a whole day. If the cure time is 24 hours, I will wait 24 hours before I trim those ends. Especially if you sell your work, you want to follow the manufacturer's instructions. It is so important. They don't make that stuff up just to make up rules. They do a lot of testing, and they know we're savvy. So when they put the directions on a package, they really mean it. And so it's to your advantage to just follow along what the manufacturer recommends, regardless of what I say, regardless of whatever anybody else says. Read the manufacturer's instructions. Let the glue cure, then trim the ends, and then if you can, be strategic and place your knot in a location where you can then pull the knot inside of the bead and hide it. And then everybody will be mystified as to how you made it. It'll also help protect the knot. So those are my tried and true use tips for working with elastic. Now, the other option, of course, which we'll cover with the memory wire, but you could always add in a charm, use a jump ring. You could string in a charm. when you're working, depending on how the hole on the charm is, like this, you would have to use a jump ring to make it so it hangs correctly, because otherwise it doesn't work right. So that's why you would use a jump ring to attach that to anything, not just this. Okay, so all right. I don't know if there's a code for people who are new customers. I'm sure somebody will be able to answer that question who knows better than me. Yes, please. We want to see what you ladies and gentlemen are making. We are here. We are so happy to be here sharing with you things you've asked us to show you, things we think you might want to know, and different ways that we come up with to work with the materials we have in front of us. And so we want to see what you make. And we know you are shopping from what we're sharing. So as you make things, pop over to the Art Beads Facebook group and share your pictures. And if we can see you and you tag us, we will feature you in our shows. We would love to do that. We want to share your talent with other people. So definitely do that. What was the other thing? Oh, I didn't mention today, if you're shopping on Facebook, there are codes that are popping up that'll make it so you can shop if that's where you're watching us today. So there is a functionality in place so that you can shop from Facebook. If you have any questions, just let us know. Okay, so those are memory wire ends, these teeny tiny little, they're like finial beads, like we were talking about earlier. They're just like a half drilled round, and these are sized perfectly to fit on the ends of memory wire. So you would string up your beads, place a little bit of glue, and sit the wire right into the hole and hold it. I'm not kidding. So I like to use a fast setting glue. Here you want to use a glue that's good for metal to metal so that it holds, and hopefully it's something that cooks fast, cures fast, of course. Okay, so the first bracelet I thought we could do is just super simple. Again, I won't bore you with stringing. You guys know how to string beads, but I'm going to go a little bit shorter. Oh, let's see. You might want to measure it around your wrist. Like how many loops does it take to go around your wrist? This is usually sized pretty standard. Yeah. Okay. So one loop, I'm going to cut it just a little bit shy of a full circle. Again, especially if you weren't here earlier. And like I said, I don't have a lot of rules. I really don't. I think this is our space to have fun and do what we want to do. So there's, you work safely so that you can keep creating and you don't hurt yourself, and then otherwise have fun. But when you're working with memory wire, use the right tools, because you will ruin your good tools and you'll be very sad. You may have in the past have heard me talk about my Bead-A-Lon Italian cutters that they gifted me when they came and visited back in, who knows, 2001 or 2, whenever those first came out. Yeah, I didn't know any better. So I used my first pair on memory wire. Oops, that didn't go very well. Oh, finial beads see? All right, Danette, I love that. And I have a lot of finial beads on hand. That's a great, great, great tip. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so you can see this is so easy to string these sweet, sweet, sweet seed beads. Let me show you these again, because I don't know when they're in my hand if you could really appreciate. But look how pretty they are. They've got like a really pretty, almost like those rectangle beads. I wonder if it's the same glass. It could very well be the same glass. It's got this really pretty opalescence to it without it being an AB finish. It's milky, but it still shimmers. So it's not milky like cloudy, like milk glass. It's just so pretty. Here, why don't I put one of them on here? Oh, maybe the curve of the wire may not be right for those. All right, never mind. Never mind. Okay, so we're gonna string these guys on. I'll use more of these beautiful, we'll just call them roses. Oh, you guys. I make myself laugh. I don't know if you think it's funny. I make myself laugh. Look how sweet those are. I love those crescents. Those half circles. They just frame up the beads so nicely. And let's see, what else do we have? Oh, I like these two. These are so fun. Center drilled, and they're what do they call them? Wave, or some people I think call these a potato chip, like a waffle chip. I don't know. You could tell I don't get into those details. I used to be obsessed with knowing what every bead was called. And then there were like a bazillion new beads and I'm like, okay, I'm out. I can't do it anymore. My brain capacity it's tapped. And these are just big enough where they can fit on the memory wire. Okay, so you guys get it. String up a beautiful pattern. Use these beads. The glue can be added to the shopping list. Can the glue be added to the shopping list? I think the glue, there's a Loctite version of the glue that's paintable that is available. I'm afraid the glue that I originally would have suggested is currently out of stock. There is a cyanoacrylate that I believe would work, Zap-A-Gap, I believe would work for the metal to metal. There is E6000. If you want to use E6000, E6000 is great for so many things. It works so well. I will tell you personally, it is a glue that I don't use very often for the sake of it's not a safe glue. It is something you definitely want to use in a very well ventilated area. It is, I mean, I have it here in my studio. It's just one of those glues that it's good, it works, but it works because of what it has in it. And what it has in it is not safe for you to breathe in. So wear a mask, use it in a well ventilated area, but it does work. So you have to just make a choice. E6000 does work. I just don't normally recommend it for the sake of all the other precautions that come with it. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so you can use, this is a gel. I love a gel glue. The thing I also love about a gel glue, which I know we will be getting this back in stock. Art Beads will definitely get this back in stock. It's on their radar. It's something that clearly sells well because it's sold out, and it was not sold out last week. But the thing about a gel, which I will show you, and I don't mean to tease you with it. This is a new container. Let me see. Let me be prepared if this goes south. You just have to pump it a couple of times. I know there's a trick to it. I haven't used a new bottle in a long time, but I know there's a trick to it. Maybe I didn't twist it open. Right. Oh, see, I should have read the directions. It's been a long time since I've had a new bottle. All right, I bet that's it. So I had a twist. I knew there was a trick to it. I had a twist. Yep, that was it. Okay, so when you open a new bottle, use the cap, twist all the way down so that this cap matches the base, meets the base, and then the glue will dispense. Okay, so this glue works with flatbacks. I don't know if you've worked with crystal flatbacks before, but when you use a super glue with crystal flatbacks, rhinestones, they get cloudy. They react, the silver backing reacts with the crystal and makes the crystals cloudy. So we forever and ever and ever did not use super glue, but a gel works. And the gel is so nice because it will just sit on the end. You can control how much comes out. And there is a Loctite gel available. It's the paintable version. Like there's a brush. And I probably will wind up getting some of this on my hand. And then you just, oh, darn. You want to get that in there, hold it for a second, and then you can set it upside down so gravity will work for you, and then just prop it up. I have a lot of devices in my studio for metalsmithing, so I would have something handy that I can prop this up with, but you can work something so that you can have it rest while the glue cures. Okay, so let me put that aside. And then the other thing I will share with you, oh yeah, I definitely got glue on my hands. That's funny. So I also keep on hand alcohol wipes. I do a lot of work with resin, also with adhesives, and I keep alcohol wipes. So they're not pure alcohol. They're very safe. And that'll help remove the glue without any trouble. Okay, so again, I'm going to use the memory wire cutters. So you would just put it in, and so you can see how thick they are. They are really made specifically for cutting this really heavy hardened steel. And it cuts it seamlessly, and you get those two nice flush ends. So the other thing I will tell you is when you're working with these, they will also cut your heavy gauge wire. Forever and a day when I was teaching wire working with sterling, and I worked with 14, 16, 10 gauge, or 14, 12, 10 gauge wire. We always used really expensive, heavy duty jewelry making flush cutters. Well, lo and behold, the mighty memory wire cutters not only cut that gauge wire, but they cut the ends flush. So I spent a lot of money on double flush cutters so that I don't, anyway, it's a long story, but these are great for more than just memory wire. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to share with you is finishing the ends using these. So instead of adding finials, what you can do, string on your beads and then use these pliers to turn the end. And then one of the things that's really fun, because why have a loop if you don't want to, why have a loop and not use it? So I'll make a loop. And then, although I would want it to be turned a little bit better than that, where it's like a spring ring, you know, where you've got the loop overlapping itself, add a charm to this. So use those charms that we made. Use the why am I losing my mind here? Use these oval jump rings. That's the word. Sorry, I'm not even thinking about anything else. Use the oval jump rings. Slip that guy on there. Close that jump ring up. Get that seam closed. Nice and flush so it doesn't catch on anything. And then you can see my point earlier in that now the charm hangs in the lower part of the jump ring. The seam for the jump ring is on the side and less likely to have, you know, the weight of the charm pull the ring open if you were using a round jump ring. So definitely, if you haven't already been using them, use oval jump rings in this instance. Oh, look how close I can get. How nice is that? So you can really see what I mean by that. And then you can create, so you can make these beads be winter themed. It is still winter. Oh my gosh, it's still winter for a whole nother month. Blah. But you can also use it for ocean, beach, the sky. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're evocative. Like they really can transform your brain and your thoughts into whatever it is you're dreaming of. Especially because there's stars in here and flowers. We've got roses. All right, anybody have any, oh, glues are added, thank you. Yeah, the thing about this particular glue, the hole is open. It really was a matter of twisting down, and I've forgotten. This glue lasts so long. I hadn't opened a fresh bottle in a long time, so I apologize for forgetting. But it's now just had to twist it down, and then the glue is able to come free. And then put the cap back on. That Loctite glue is amazing. The brushing version or this one that I just showed you, they're amazing. And the brush one is available, so grab it while it's in stock. For those of you, let me flip my camera back up around. So great to be with you. Thank you for being here. I really love that glue. I really love that you can use it with crystals. It works with metal. It works with leather. So the brushing version of the Loctite and the when they get that other one back in stock, definitely get it. Like I said, I probably have 3 bottles of it over there. I teach with it. I carry it with me everywhere. Okay, so we just covered making a couple sweet little bracelets. Nothing complicated. I didn't go crazy stringing beads with you today, but hopefully the tips along the way with all the different materials we worked with were helpful so that you can really kind of play with the beads yourself, figure out what charms you want, do some metal stamping. It just adds a personal touch. It definitely could be used for your maker's mark. It could be just something, especially if you sell your work. If you sell your work, we're getting into the preparations for show season. The spring season shows are really ramping up. I'm getting notifications all over the place of shows that are, oh, we added a show. Go have fun, sell your work, but definitely use metal stamping as an option for branding, branding you, making you stand out, making it a little bit different from everybody else, because, there's a lot of us out there making jewelry. There's a lot of us out there selling our work. So set yourself apart but have fun with it while you're at it. There's so many options and what you can do, and metal stamping opens up a whole nother realm of possibilities. And that was really just a very small taste of what's possible. So hopefully it just whetted your appetite just enough to get you interested. Stay tuned for more of that. I'm making you hungry. Arcos Parpucas. Yes. Oh, and we have a new customer code. Thank you, Art Beads, for taking care of that. Thank you, Eric. Just scanning back through. Sorry, my reading part of my glasses is here. I know that must look kind of funny. That's what happens when, well, I've worn glasses my whole life, so I can't even say it's because I'm old, because I'm not even that old. That's what my glasses. Oh, sure, cornstarch works too. Anything that'll give you that non-stick ability, that's also safe to use, and cornstarch is more natural than powder, so yes, and it may be actually more readily available. Yep, cornstarch is a great idea. I actually don't even use cornstarch in my house. I use, oh gosh, it just went out of my head. It's actually more natural than cornstarch. So any of those things that are safe to use, it'll rinse right off if you douse it, and you by the time you finish making it, if there's any residue, you could just rinse it real quick, no problem. Oh, thank you. This is metal clay. Here, thank you. I would love to show it to you. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you. We're not making that here, but thank you. I appreciate that. Well, thank you, Robin. I appreciate you joining. Thank you again, Heather. Danette, thank you all so much for joining me today. It's been my pleasure. Don't forget to close out your carts. Some of these are very limited edition, and I would hate for you to be disappointed and miss out, especially if you fell in love with the products we're working with today and that blend. What else? Close out your cart. Oh, and be sure, artbeats.com. Check out the schedule. Click on the live and go to the schedule. See what everybody else has coming up this week. Add it to your calendar. Deb Floros is new to our team, and she will be joining us and getting into the mix. So be sure to check out what she has coming up. And it's so nice you can add it to your calendar so you get the reminder. And then there's the whole library of all the other videos that we've done in the past that are available to you for you to go back through and watch. And then if after today you get your material and you're like, wait, I forget how that knot was made or whatever, come back and rewatch this. It's here for you. It's here. It's accessible. We're here for you. We would love to know what it is you want to learn. If there's anything that you want to do or have us show you that we haven't covered yet, or maybe you'd like to see it done a different way, please let us know. Comment in the Facebook group. Art Beads has a Facebook group. Wherever you can reach us, definitely drop a note. Let us know. I think even GS Hypo Cement would be fine for the stretch bracelets. Just not cyanoacrylate base glue or nail polish. Some people like to use clear nail polish. Oh yeah, the cornstarch. Yep. Thank you, Eric, for filling that in. Arrowroot. That's it, Kate. Thanks for being my brain today. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much. Well, thanks, Beverly. Thanks for joining us. We're so glad to have you here. Be sure to check out all the other options and lives we have coming up. We are here for you guys. We love you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I wish you a great week ahead. Thank you. Oh, well, Kat, good. Don't use nail polish. Not good for these. Yes. Use the powder if you are stringing your beads and you find that the elastic is too sticky, it just helps take that stickiness away so that the beads slide right on and they don't get hung up and don't get stuck while you're trying to string the beads on. Just makes things go a lot faster. And don't forget to pre-stretch your cord. If you missed that tip, definitely pre-stretch your cord before you string your beads. Because it'll stretch after the fact, and it also supposedly, I don't know if this is true, I was always told that if you don't pre-stretch, it makes the cord more susceptible to breakage after you make your design. So I just always pre-stretch and like to remind people to do that. Okay, all right, everybody, take care, have a wonderful, wonderful day and a great week ahead. All my best.